Consistency isn't just a habit, it's a mindset. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. But we live in a world that's impatient, a world where we're looking for shortcuts for quick results. The truth is, consistency is the hidden force behind every success. And while it may not always be glamorous, it's the foundation on which greatness is built. Today, I want to share with you 5 key principles about why consistency matters and how to force yourself to stay consistent even when it feels impossible. These principles, when applied, can change the trajectory of your life, your career, and your dream. We all have routines. Those small, seemingly insignificant actions we perform every day without even thinking. Brushing our teeth, making our bed, scrolling through our phones. At first glance, these habits might feel like little more than background noise in the rhythm of life. But let's pause for a moment and consider this. It's these tiny, consistent actions that shape who we become. It's easy to overlook the impact of consistency. We're often told to think big, to look for the breakthrough, to wait for the moment when everything changes. But the truth is, it's the small, everyday actions that truly have the power to change our lives. Success isn't built on one moment of brilliance. It's built on the quiet repetition of effort over time. Take a moment to think about the habits that define your day. What are you doing consistently, even when it seems like it won't matter? It could be as simple as reading for 30 minutes or writing for an hour each day. It's not about how big or glamorous the task seems in the moment. It's about doing it, showing up over and over again. Each time you engage in that small act, you're reinforcing a habit, and over time, that habit will compound. It will evolve into something far greater than what you initially thought possible. The challenge we face is that we often overestimate what we can achieve in the short term. We expect rapid results and immediate success, but we often underestimate the power of small. It doesn't demand instant reward. Instead, it promises something far more valuable: lasting transformation. Think about Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world. He didn't become successful overnight. His wealth didn't come from chasing the latest trend or the next big opportunity. No, his success was built on decades of small, consistent actions. Making smart investments, sticking to his strategy even when everyone else was looking for shortcuts or following the crowd. He didn't let the noise of the world distract him from his commitment. He showed up day after day with a clear sense of purpose and an unwavering dedication to his approach. This is the power of consistency. It shapes who we are, how we show up, and what we become. The habits you create today, the choices you make, will determine where you stand tomorrow. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that success is about a single big move. But in reality, success is the sum of all the small, consistent actions you take along the way. It's about committing to the process, even when you don't see immediate results, trusting that the actions you take every day will build something bigger than you can imagine. So what will you do today? What habits will you choose to reinforce? The future you're creating is built by the actions you take in this moment. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's about showing up, being consistent, and knowing that in time, that consistency will shape the life you've always dreamed of. There is something profoundly powerful about consistency. It's not just about showing up, it's about committing to yourself, no matter how hard the path may seem. We live in a world that's fast-paced, filled with distractions and moments that test our resolve. But the most important relationship we can nurture is the one we have with ourselves. It's the commitment to our words, to our promises, that shapes our destiny. When you commit to a goal, it's easy to be excited at the beginning. We all know the rush of setting a new goal, of planning the steps, of envisioning the success at the end. But what happens when the excitement fades, when the days become long, and the challenges start to feel overwhelming? That's where consistency matters. It's in those moments when the initial excitement wears off, that consistency proves its true worth. It's not the burst of energy at the start that matters. It's the steady, persistent effort, day in and day out, that keeps you moving forward. Think of trust as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Trust, when it is consistently earned, becomes unshakable. There's a story I want to share with you. A few years ago, I set a goal to run my first marathon. I had never run that distance before, and the idea of running 26 miles seemed utterly impossible. The first few weeks of training were brutal. My body felt exhausted, my mind told me to quit, and the distance ahead seemed never-ending. But here's what I did. I didn't aim for perfection, I aimed for consistency. I told myself that no matter how tired I was, no matter how much I wanted to take a shortcut, I would run. Even if it was just a short distance that day, I would show up. I made a promise to myself, and I kept it. As the weeks passed, something remarkable happened. With every run, no matter how small, I started building trust in myself. I knew that I could count on me. There was no magic moment, No sudden burst of speed or strength. It was the slow and steady progress that made all the difference. On the day of the marathon, I crossed the finish line, not because I was the fastest, but because I trusted myself to keep going. I had earned that trust through consistency. This is what consistency gives you. It builds trust, not only with others, but more importantly, with yourself. It's what allows you to look ahead, knowing that even when the path gets tough, you can handle it. It's what keeps you grounded when the world around you seems uncertain. This trust isn't built overnight. It's developed over time with small actions that seem insignificant in the moment, but they compound into something powerful. We often talk about achieving greatness, about overcoming the odds, about pushing through barriers. But the secret to achieving that greatness isn't in one grand gesture. It's in the small, consistent choices you make each day. When you keep showing up even when the progress is slow, you start to trust that you will eventually succeed. That's the power of consistency. It's not about speed, it's about commitment. And once you build that trust with yourself, there's nothing that can stop you. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with the idea that success comes easily, that perfection is the goal. Social media shows us highlight reels of people's lives, their achievements, and the polished versions of their work. It's easy to think that if you're not getting things right from the start, you're somehow falling behind, that if you're not perfect, you're failing. But what if I told you that consistency doesn't mean perfection? It means persistence. There is something inherently powerful about persistence. It's a quiet strength that doesn't demand instant results, doesn't crumble under pressure, and doesn't shy away from failure. In fact, persistence thrives in the face of adversity, the struggles, and the moments when it feels like nothing is going right. It's the unwavering commitment to continue moving forward, no matter how tough things get. Think about all the times you faced setbacks, or felt discouraged. The feeling of working hard, giving everything you have, only to see little to no immediate results. It can be disheartening, but the truth is, setbacks aren't signs to quit. They're simply part of the journey. They test our commitment, our resolve, and our willingness to keep going. And that's what makes the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who let their dreams fade away. Consistency doesn't mean getting everything right on the first try. It doesn't mean that every step you take will be flawless. It means showing up day after day, even when things aren't perfect. It means doing the work, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's in the persistence to keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how many times you fall. It's about continuing to believe in the process, even when the journey seems endless. Let's take a moment to reflect on the life of Thomas Edison. Edison didn't invent the light bulb overnight. In fact, he famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't." He was relentless. Every failure, every mistake, every obstacle was simply another lesson. Another step toward the breakthrough he would eventually discover. Imagine if Edison had stopped after his first failure, or after his 100th, or after his 1,000th. The world would look a lot different today. Edison understood something essential. Failure is not the end of the road. It's just part of the process. Perfection wasn't his goal. He didn't need to get everything right every time. What he needed was to persist. And that persistence paid off, not because he had a flawless plan, but because he was willing to try, fail, and try again. He understood that the path to success wasn't a straight line. It was a winding road, filled with twists and turns. The key to getting to the other side wasn't avoiding failure, but embracing it and learning from it. The same holds true for all of us. We don't need to be perfect, and we don't need everything to go according to plan. In fact, we can't expect that. Life doesn't work that way. It's messy, unpredictable, and filled with challenges that we often don't see coming. But what we can do is persist. We can continue to show up, continue to put in the work, even when the road gets tough. In the moments when it feels like you're failing, when the setbacks seem too great to overcome, that's when persistence becomes the most important thing. It's the decision to keep going even when the odds seem stacked against you. It's the understanding that success is built not on a single moment of perfection, but on the countless moments of persistence. When we talk about consistency, we often think it's about doing the same thing over and over again, without change, without growth. But real consistency is about doing the right things consistently, even when those things don't seem to be working at first. It's about having the patience to allow time and effort to yield results. When you show up every day, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere, you're building something far greater than just a skill or a project. You're building resilience.
Think of all the people who have achieved greatness. The athletes, the musicians, the artists, the entrepreneurs. They didn't get there by being perfect. They got there by persisting. They were consistent in their efforts, but they also faced failure, rejection, and doubt along the way. What set them apart wasn't their ability to get things right every time. It was their refusal to quit. their commitment to keep pushing forward, no matter the obstacles they faced. Persistence doesn't require perfection, but it does require belief. Belief in the process. Belief that your efforts matter, even when you can't see the outcome yet. Belief that every step, even the missteps, is a part of the bigger picture. Imagine what could happen if you took that mindset into everything you do. If you gave yourself permission to fail, to stumble, and to fall, but you also gave yourself permission to get back up again and again. Imagine if you stopped worrying about being perfect and instead focused on being persistent. You would accomplish more than you ever thought possible, not because you never failed, but because you never gave up. In the face of challenges, persistence is what turns failure into a stepping stone. It's what transforms setbacks into opportunity. When you embrace persistence, you become unstoppable. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks, and instead, you see them as tests of your resilience, as chances to learn, grow, and get closer to your goal. So the next time you feel discouraged, the next time you think about giving up, remember this: consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means doing the work even when the results aren't immediate, even when things aren't going perfectly, because over time that persistence will pay off. It will lead to breakthroughs, to moments of growth and discovery, and it will lead you to success, not because you were perfect, but because you refused to quit. Success isn't a destination. It's a journey that begins with a single step, one that requires nothing more than consistent effort. Many of us look at successful people and think that their achievements came effortlessly, that their success was inevitable from the start. But the truth is, every success story begins with the same thing: momentum. Momentum isn't just a buzzword. It's the force that drives you forward when everything else seems impossible. And the best part, momentum is built through consistency. The power of momentum is undeniable. Think of it like a snowball. When you first push it, it's small, heavy, and cumbersome. The snowball's mass is compact, and it takes a significant amount of effort to move it even an inch. You may feel like you're pushing against the weight of the world, that progress is slow and laborious, and the end goal seems a distant dream. The effort required to push that small snowball feels disproportionate to the results. It can be frustrating. There's a temptation to stop, to let go, to convince yourself that it's just not worth it. But here's the catch. Every time you push that snowball, it picks up more snow. Each rotation adds just a little more mass. Gradually, the snowball starts to roll a bit more easily. And over time, it grows larger, until one day it seems to roll on its own, gaining speed without any extra effort from you. At the start of any journey, it can be hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel. The early stages of growth are grueling. You're putting in the work, but the results don't seem to reflect the effort. This is when most people give up. They mistake the slow pace for failure. They don't see the snowball building, growing, gathering strength. But it's in these early stages, when progress feels minimal, that consistency becomes your greatest ally. You may not see the immediate results of your actions, but the compound effect is at work. Every small action, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is a step toward the momentum that will eventually make success inevitable. It's easy to think that success is about taking big, bold leaps, but real lasting success is about the small, seemingly insignificant actions that you take every single day. It's about making the decision to push the snowball forward even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. Every action compounds, building upon the last. The more consistent you are, the more momentum you gain. And with it, the more effortless progress becomes. Let's take a step back and reflect. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like the task ahead was impossible? Maybe you had a new job, or you were starting a new business, or perhaps you were just trying to improve yourself. At the start, it felt overwhelming, didn't it? Every day seemed like a battle, but you kept going. You didn't stop, even when the results weren't immediate. And then, one day, something changed. You looked back and realized that you had moved forward without even thinking about it. What once seemed like an insurmountable challenge had become second nature. You didn't have to fight anymore. The snowball had gained so much momentum that it was rolling on its own. This is the magic of momentum. Once you've built it, everything else becomes easier. It's no longer a battle against yourself. Instead, it's a rhythm. It's like being on a bike. At first you struggle to get started, but once you're pedaling, you start to glide. The momentum keeps you going, and soon you find yourself moving faster and more effortlessly than you ever thought possible. This is what success feels like when momentum is on your side. The key to achieving momentum is consistency. It's the small decisions you make every day that matter the most. Whether you're building a business, pursuing a personal goal, or striving to make a change in your life, It's not the occasional bursts of effort that lead to success. It's the unwavering commitment to show up, day after day, no matter how hard it feels. Even on days when the results are invisible, the snowball is still growing. The work is still being done. The momentum is still building. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in a day, and underestimate what we can achieve over time. It's easy to get discouraged when you focus on the immediate results. But when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, you begin to see the progress. You start to notice that the snowball is no longer small and heavy. It's bigger now. It's picking up speed. And you realize that success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. The journey is never linear. There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments where you question if it's all worth it. But it's during these moments that the power of consistency becomes even more important. It's in these moments that the decision to keep going, despite the doubt, despite the challenges, becomes your greatest asset. When the snowball feels like it's getting stuck, you just need to push a little harder. Keep rolling, because eventually momentum will take over, and the success you're working toward will become not just possible, but inevitable. There's an incredible strength that comes from consistency. It's a quiet strength that doesn't demand recognition but quietly builds over time. And while momentum may start slow, it eventually becomes a full consistent efforts added up to create a global legacy. That's what legacy is, an accumulation of all the small consistent actions we take, even when no one is watching. It's easy to think that our big wins will define us, but in reality, it's the daily choices, the relentless pursuit of improvement, that shapes who we are and what we leave behind. Every day we have the chance to do something that brings us closer to the legacy we want to build, whether it's working a little harder, being kinder, or pushing through fear. These moments are what truly define our impact. Think about your own journey. What are you doing today that will contribute to the legacy you want to leave behind? It doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be a groundbreaking idea or a viral success. It can be as simple as showing up consistently, doing your best, and staying true to your purpose. It's about building something that endures, something that's shaped by the small everyday actions that speak to who you are and what you stand for. We all want to make an impact, to leave something behind that outlives us. But it's not going to happen through one grand act. It's going to happen through the little things we do every single day. So ask yourself, what are you doing today to build that legacy? The journey may be long, but every step counts. Keep showing up, keep being consistent. That's how you build something that lasts. Becomes your greatest asset. When the snowball feels like it's getting stuck, you just need to push a little harder. Keep rolling, because eventually momentum will take over, and the success you're working toward will become not just possible, but inevitable. There's an incredible strength that comes from consistency. It's a quiet strength that doesn't demand recognition but quietly builds over time. And while momentum may start slow, it eventually becomes a force that's unstoppable. It's like the weight of the world shifting in your favor. What was once a burden becomes an unstoppable force. The more you stick with it, the easier it becomes, until success feels like it's simply the natural outcome of your effort. Momentum isn't just a result of talent or luck. It's the result of consistency. It's the result of deciding, every single day, to keep pushing the snowball forward. And when that snowball starts to gain momentum, when it starts to roll on its own, you'll realize that all those small steps, all that consistent effort led to something bigger than you ever imagined. Success becomes inevitable because you built the momentum. We all have dreams of leaving something behind, a mark on the world that says, I was here, I mattered. Whether it's a business, a cause, or the way we treat those around us, we want to build something that lasts. But here's the truth. Lasting impact is not born from fleeting moments of brilliance or a single spectacular success. It's born from the small, steady, consistent actions we take every single day. When we look at those who have created legacies, the visionaries, the innovators, the leaders, they didn't rise to prominence through a single moment of glory. No, they built their legacies through relentless consistency. It was the persistence of their efforts that allowed them to overcome obstacles, rise from failure, and keep moving forward with purpose. It wasn't a matter of grand gestures. It was the daily grind that shaped their story. Take someone like Steve Jobs. We often think of him as the genius